I was a little nervous there for a while. It seemed like I wasn't going to be able to get on this afternoon, but thank you for joining us for Talking Business. Today we are talking to fitness guru, personal trainer, and franchisee, Joseph Stempien of Legacy Fit. I actually met this gentleman through my husband. He's his personal trainer, and I've watched as he's been very committed to really growing his business. Watched as my husband's been committed to going to his business on a regular basis. So I thought I'd ask him a little bit of information about the fitness industry, especially when it comes to looking at a pivot plan. So without further ado, let me introduce Joseph Stempien. Hi.
Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
How are you today?
I'm great.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Start with, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Joseph Stempien, also known as Joe No Days Off. People call me that more than my real name now. Because, as you can see, I always have something, no days off. That's our motto. That's everything we do. I'm a gym owner and a partner in 5 different locations now. And we do group fitness, the small boutique gyms. We're not the big LA Fitness, the big ones where you walk in and do your own thing. It's all instruction based and really, really, really doing well.
Okay, good. You are a franchisee, and I don't know if our audience really understands what that is. Can you share a little bit about what?
Well, with a franchisee, you basically
how that works?
Pay the franchise fee or something and get to use the likeness and trademark of the company. But I'm in a certain situation where I'm partnered up with somebody, but I also own a piece of pretty much every one of the locations because I've been with them 10 years now.
Okay, that's a perfect setup. So it's a different. It's not. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess we're having some technical difficulties. I'm sorry. Willem was saying he didn't see me. I'm sorry. Let's keep talking. So then the model that you have is not necessarily founded really on a franchise model. You created a special contract with Young.
It's more of, there was 2 options at one point, either the corporate location or the franchise location.
Okay.
So we actually have 2 different options.
Okay.
But I kind of have my hand in all of it just because I've been around since the beginning.
Okay, that's very cool. Actually, that's a different model.
Nobody else will ever have it like this.
Oh, that's very cool. Got some ideas. So this is what I was intrigued by. The fitness industry during the pandemic was one of the first industries I saw that really got out there and maximized the online presentation. It was actually quite impressive, actually, how quickly that industry was able to do so. I'm wondering, was that sort of already a trend, or was it out of necessity? And has the industry and you been able to figure out a way to monetize that at this point?
Well, online training has pretty much always been around. There's some people that they themselves are brands, and let's just say you're almost one of these famous people and people want to be trained by you.
Yeah.
They can pay a fee and train with you virtually, or they send you the workouts, or you can do one-on-one like we're doing this conversation where somebody has the instruction base. They really can't be hands-on, but it wasn't as big as it is now. Now this is basically the only option you had.
Right.
So since we're an instruction-based gym, we're able to survive because you can follow along, you can comment, we can type, and I can have hundreds of people watching me and going through the workout still. Now, us personally, we're not charging anything for what we do right now. We're doing it all for free. We're putting out the material, and between my location, the other locations, I mean, you're getting 10 to 20 different workouts. You can pick and choose what you want to do, follow the trainers you want to do, and we're not going to charge anything till all this is over. And then we go back to work doing our normal training inside our brick and mortar stores. But this whole thing opened up a new can of worms for us where I have people following me in 14 different countries and different states all throughout our country. And they've already reached out to me. They're like, well, what are you going to do when this is over? Are you still going to go live? Because I'm willing to pay to keep doing this. So,
that's
I'm willing to charge you when this is all over, and we'll keep it going.
That's it, and that's what I was going to ask. Is this now opened up an audience of folks that you couldn't have touched before. And now are you thinking through, how do I really keep this and make this as a revenue stream?
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
all because of us putting out our free workout. So let's just say we started, they shut us down in the middle of 1 week. By that following Monday, we figured out, all right, everybody's going to start going live at these times. We're
Right.
going to record workouts, put those on our stories later. And then our people are so appreciative that even if you suspended or froze your account and weren't able to pay, you were still able to do our workouts. We're going to give back as much as we can. So the power of social media just started to, play where the people would do the workouts, they would post it, do the workouts, post it. Their friends would see it. They're like, oh, let me check this guy out.
Hmm.
They look at it, they post it. And it's like that snowball effect. So all of a sudden, just because we're based in South Florida, all of a sudden people are like working out and tagging me from Boston, from
Very
LA,
cool.
from Switzerland, Canada. And it's like,
What do we
wow,
do with this?
wow.
That's awesome. That actually is really awesome. And it was very interesting to watch. I dance, and I was watching a couple of videos from some people that do some dancing, and they had thousands of people tuning in from all over the world. So now, like you said, they're offering master classes. So if you want a master class with a special instructor, you can
Yeah,
do that at a
you
cost.
can pay for
And I was
it.
thinking about it. I'm really thinking about it. So yeah, I thought that was very impressive. So it seems like that's something that's going to continue in your arsenal of revenue.
Of course. No, I mean, it's, our main, goal at the end of the day is to open up these locations everywhere anyways.
Right.
So in
Let's
the
get
big picture,
everything.
we're going to pre-expose all of these markets that we're going to try to get into. So let's just say we go after a place in Texas and you already
Mhm.
have some people in Texas doing it and heard
Right.
about it. And then all
Right.
of a sudden
Right.
it's that easy, much easier to penetrate that market.
Yeah, absolutely. Georgia, as you know, has reopened. Here in Miami, we haven't yet, as of yet, or not a formal reopening. I guess we're ultimately transitioning there. And there was a lot of conversation around what was reopening, I guess. And it was funny because I found even my friends and some people that I was talking to, they were, I don't understand why we're opening theaters. I don't understand why we're opening museums, but everybody was willing to give either the hair salon or the gym a pass. So I might go to the gym if they open it up. So what are your feelings about if we're ready to open at this point? And can there be safety measures put in place to support opening at this time at a gym?
I mean, at the end of the day, I've been to Walmart's, I've been to Home Depot,
Me
I've been to all these stores where there's hundreds and hundreds of people in there. They're not even practicing social distancing because you
too.
can't control that many people. I mean, I'm used to controlling everybody in my classes already. Like I can keep people separate.
Mhm.
If we were able to open, I would be able to like disinfect, clean everything. We have the thermometer to check your forehead,
Okay.
y'all start up.
Mhm.
We could follow the guidelines in our style of gym. Not every gym has the same setup as we do. So I don't know if every gym could do it, but us personally, I mean, it shouldn't be a problem. They've already done, you can't even have like the coronavirus transmitted through sweat. And then if you've read all the stuff up where most of the people that are actually being really affected by this are the
Mhm.
people with, weight
Pre-existing
issues
conditions. Yeah.
and conditioning stuff. The healthy people really aren't dying at the rate that the unhealthy people are. So you would think that you would want people to start working on
Right.
themselves to help,
Right.
battle this.
So I'm wondering if that's a whole new audience. You definitely are going to be able to tap into an audience of people that have pre-existing conditions, because I'm sure they're going to want to work out now.
Well, the way it's set up, everybody's been closed, for almost 2 months now, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So once everything opens back up, then it's going to be like January 1st again
Right.
in all the gyms where we're going to get that big influx of people.
Yes.
We've missed out for a little bit, but we'll make it up on the back end. And from all the people that we've reached online that didn't even know about us in our home market, they're like, we've already received the message. I can't wait to sign up when you guys open.
Right.
So we've already set the blueprint for success once we open. And then the icing on the cake is we are currently building two more, one in Pembroke Pines
Really.
and one in downtown Fort Lauderdale.
Wow.
As you know, construction hasn't stopped,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
and
This it will be.
where I'm at here in Coral Gables, They have this big monstrosity on Ponce where there's legitimately hundreds and hundreds of workers all like this with each other, not practicing the guidelines, and they're working. So we've had these things under construction the entire time, and we should be ready to open the doors, June 1st.
When
So
this,
so
when this,
when this ends
very
and
cool.
we were able to
Very
build
cool.
these up
Very
with
cool.
with the influx of that January 1st type of crowd,
Right.
we should
Right.
be in great shape because
Well,
people are gonna be looking for this.
because I absolutely agree. I think the fitness industry will be fine, just like the beauty industry. I think those industries will not miss a beat. The question becomes when you look across the industry, there may be some gyms that might not survive. And so, I'm sure there's been some conversations around the industry that you're a part of as to, what types of gyms are having that kind of struggle. What are the plans to help those businesses or help them transition? What is that conversation like?
So one of the big ones, I don't remember if it's 24-hour fitness or the other one, but one of them, like less than a month into it, had already made the news because they're going to file for bankruptcy. And those,
Really?
oh yeah, and those gyms have been around forever, but they're
Right. Yeah.
because they're one of those traditional gyms where you pay your 20, 30, $40 a month and you're basically renting their weights.
Right.
There's no instruction, there's no nothing. You can't get inside and use their weights, so
Right.
they're not, and they have so much overhead because of their locations are so
Yes.
huge, and
Yes.
they require a lot of members.
Yes.
You know, we were making money, good money, just with 300 members since the 3 months we were open before we closed. So we don't really
Okay.
require so many members to survive. And
You set up a
literally,
model that you can survive in that way.
yeah,
Good.
and
Very
we've been in South Florida since end of 2008. So we've been in here 12 years, and then we have all the locations that we have. So we're an established brand,
okay.
and we've made good money,
That's true.
and we haven't really even paid ourselves what we should have or could have,
Mhm.
but rather than that, reinvest to keep growing.
Exactly. Mhm.
So we're set. We're good. We're not really going to be phased. And
Okay.
we had all of our paperwork in order
Okay.
because we have a CSO who's on top of her stuff,
Right.
and she was able to file our paperwork right away. We got approved by our bank. We got
I was
you
gonna
know we
ask
got Oh
that.
yeah.
That's
So
it.
we're good.
Good, good,
But
good,
these
good.
little these little one location spots where you've only been open a couple of years, and the business model, it's usually you probably lose money or break even the first 2 to 3 years. So if you don't have
Right.
any
Absolutely.
reserves and your
Absolutely.
landlord doesn't want to give you a cut on the rent,
Absolutely.
you're I'm sorry, but like you're just like a like collateral damage or whatever you want to call it with this.
Absolutely. That's been my debate, I guess. My argument a little bit is that, we definitely have to get businesses that are, in particular startups, to a place where they can sustain. Because I'm amazed that, there are several businesses, they were talking about restaurants today, maybe 40% of them in certain areas won't survive. And it's been a month. Now, granted, a tough month and bills needed to go out and employees need to be paid. But, you got to ask yourself, why, what must I do to stay in existence for 1 month to 6 months?
That's the problem. Like all these big chains, and if you saw on the news, the people like the Ruth Chris and the Shake Shack that got
Yes,
bailed out, yet they had all that money in reserve. That money should have went to the mom and pop, the place that have
absolutely.
like one location, 10, 20 employees, because they're the type of people that aren't going to make it. They're the
Absolutely.
ones that need the help. And I feel like from everything I've read and talked to some of my other business owner friends and clients, like they're the ones that got screwed because the banks at the end of the day took care of their best clients. If you're
Absolutely.
if you're pumping 20, 30, even 5, 10, whatever, how many $1 million in revenue through their bank a
Right.
year, they
Right.
want that money to continue. You're
Absolutely.
a small
So,
business, and let's just say you're only pumping a couple hundred grand, but they can give the same amount of money to each of you. Who are they going to help out?
absolutely. That
They're
doesn't
gonna they're gonna
remotely
help
make
out
any
their big
sense.
guy.
The other thing, though, we talked about with one of my friends was also making sure small businesses are ready. Like you just suggested, y'all have a really good accountant who was on top of your money on
No, we got an
paper.
accountant and we have a chief strategic officer where we got all this. We're
Right,
our system's set up because we've been around so long. There's
right,
plenty of people in our position where there's literally a gym owner who wears all the hats, who does all the jobs, and he might have one, maybe two employees. As a company,
right,
we're what?
right.
In
Uh-oh.
all of our locations, 30, 40 people deep
I think
now.
we're stuck a little.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I hear you. I think I see you now. Go ahead.
We're back. Well, I said that we're structured for success because we have the people, we put in the time. But the people that don't have the help, or let's just say somebody who's a gym owner, they're a great trainer, they
Hmm.
run their business well, but they don't necessarily understand or don't even know how to do the business side and
Right,
file the
exactly.
paperwork. Because if you don't know how to file paperwork and you don't know how to fill out paperwork, you're you got
You out of business.
you took it on
You're
the chin there and all there.
absolutely out of business. You're right.
Yeah.
And you talk about being structured for business. Was that a conscious decision when you first decided, since you've been with them so long, the owner first decided to sit down and start this? Was that a conscious decision, or was those things that were learned over time?
Well, it was learned over time. Everything's a growing process because everything started, the first location was right there in that Wynwood location, and it was
Yeah.
2,500 square feet, and it was the end of a dead end right there on 24th Street, where it wasn't the best neighborhood. Like it was really
I've
bad.
seen it. I've
All
seen
right.
it.
Now, 12 years later, it's like one of the most expensive spots to be in all of Miami. It
Yes,
blows my mind.
yes.
So, we've taken that 2,500 square feet, and now it's right under 11,000 square feet plus the parking lot and the field that we play in outside. But for those first 4, 5, 6 years, it was just me and Manny, and we had an accountant to do our paperwork.
Oh, cool.
And
Very cool.
so me or him had to be there at all hours of the day because we didn't have a front desk person, we didn't have another employee. It was just two guys, and we had a couple of independent contractors where they didn't necessarily work for us.
Okay.
They came in, basically paid their rent to train who they wanted to train in there.
Okay.
But as for like cleaning up or any other kind of responsibility, they were kind of promoting their brand as their
Uh-huh.
trainers.
Mhm.
But that's it. But then, we had, trying to think of how we added people. Like we added Ron, then we added, I think, Sean, then we added
Ultimately, you
Len.
got to a point where you could have actual employees.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So
And
like
then how many
every
years in?
location has at least 3 employees, with the exception of Wynwood. I think they have like 7 or 8. I don't even count anymore because they're so much bigger, and they
Right.
have a, a gym, not just the pit classes that we do at the rest of the locations.
And that was how many years in you really got a chance to get some employees on board? 3, 5.
I mean, it took us, from when I started, it took us 5 years to get another solid employee.
Okay.
So we
Okay.
kept trying to have that third person, and people wouldn't last that long. They would come and go, come and go, come and
Mhm.
go, and then we finally got one person that stuck.
Okay.
And that's the hardest thing in Miami, is finding dependent people, especially
Correct.
with our schedule and our motto being no days
That's
off.
all.
you know, because you know how people.
What do you mean I don't get a
Yeah,
day off?
no, I work 7 days a week. I take myself to the gym and I train people 7 days a week when we're open. That's literally no days off. No, I could take vacations if my wife has her birthday, my
Mhm.
child needs to do something. I can schedule that. But on a normal month, let's just say at 30 days, I will work 30 days.
3 days. Wow.
And
That's,
smile doing it because I love what I do. And I get
that's
to be
good.
around people like your husband that have been around me so long, they're like family. I don't just see them like in the gym. I see them outside the gym. We'll
Yeah.
go to, like we did painting with a twist. We do all kinds of fun stuff together.
That's a part of it, something that's interesting to me as well. I've said you have a cult following. I've watched. You're right. Y'all are like friends. Y'all hang out. Y'all you connect with each other through different methods. And people followed you from one location to the other as best as they could.
Yeah.
I find that's very interesting in the beauty and fitness industry because there is sort of that cult following. When you find a good trainer, you love them, you will follow them anywhere. Is that something you have mastered over time? Just the relationship you established, or something that they have taught you it when you were training?
I don't think I've done anything but love what I do.
Mhm.
B, they could tell that I love being around them and I genuinely care about my clients. Like I said, if you invite me to your birthday party, your
Mhm.
wedding,
Mhm.
your child's christening, whatever, I'm
Mhm.
there.
I can
I'm
attest to
I'm
that. I've
I'm
seen
a,
it.
I'm gonna be there. So like
I've seen it.
we we spend so much time around these people, like if you see somebody 4 to 5 days a week for an hour every day, and then you're
Uh-huh.
doing it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've had some clients that have been with 10 years.
Right.
I've seen their kids grow up. They've seen my kids grow up.
Very
Like
good.
it's like a family thing. And because we're a smaller gym, you get to know every single person
That's
in there
so
if
true.
you care and you want to. Because some people don't want to. Some people just see numbers, they see memberships, they do their
Right.
thing. But I can, and I take pride in it that I can call you by your first, maybe even last name, every single person that's ever walked into my gym.
Oh, very cool. Very
And
cool.
that was really tough and impressive when you have 800 members and I can literally say and if you had a weird first name or last name, I would kind of call you, all right,
Something
this
else.
is Ramos, because I really can't pronounce it. I don't want to butcher your first name.
But
So
I
I
know
want to
you.
remember one of them.
But I know you. I can't call you your
Or,
name, but I know you.
oh yeah, or I'll give you a nickname,
So, but I know you. So I'm looking at your hat. And this question actually came up as I was looking at your hat. Another thing I've been very impressed by is your merchandising.
Mhm.
I have seen a lot of no days off in my house. I think that has been a definite revenue stream that I think has been impressive for what you do. Can you talk a little bit about how that came about and how well that part of your business is going?
Well, the fact that we actually own the trademark for the words "no days off" is huge,
Brilliant.
because
Mhm.
we filed for it. I don't even remember how many years ago, and it took us actually years to get approved.
Uh-huh.
And we've been using it since for 10 years. And we have to battle with all the big boys. I'm not going to even mention
Mhm.
names, where they want to take our logo, our
Right.
slogan, and put it on their merchandise and sell it. And different people want to use it. And cool, we love that you guys use it.
But you need to
But if,
pay us for it.
but if you go sell it, then hey.
You need to pay us for
But
it.
when you're sometimes these are like multi-billion-dollar companies
Hmm.
that think that they can bully and push around the little guy. So like it's
Hmm.
it's it's also a battle, but everybody knows where it started and who owns the trademark. I mean,
I
I
think it's
even got
brilliant
it.
that you
I even
trademarked
got
it.
it like right here on the skin. No days off. So it's always with me.
Did you have to pay for that?
Of course, of course.
No, I think that's brilliant, actually, that you trademarked it. And that's one of those examples of when you've got those special taglines, thoughts, ideas, you really can make an opportunity for yourself in that way that smaller businesses need to think about. So, yeah, and I think it's worked very well for your merchandising for
with
sure.
with our merchandise, people love the no days off, and not
Mhm.
even for the gym. Like I'm not kidding you. I am always in no days off. Like I always at least have one thing. When I got married, I had my suit and everything. I still had my Legacy Fit no days off socks on. I still did it. I got pictures to prove it. And
Poor,
people,
poor
even
Jessica.
somebody like a registered person at Publix is like, oh my God, no days off. I need to get that shirt. Because
Okay.
everybody does their own thing. And no days off isn't about working out every day. It's about taking no days off on you and doing what you have to do. So you don't
Right.
even have to be fitness to actually appreciate no days off.
That's true. That's
And then
very true.
secondly, of course, we have our, the pit bulls, our logo as well.
Yes.
And people love dogs. And
Yes.
some people will order some of our stuff because they like the pit bull logo.
Oh, very cool. Very
So,
cool.
it's selling for multiple reasons, not just because it represents the gym.
Okay. Right. Actually, that got me thinking there. Woo.
Yeah.
So, as you know, as most of you know, we're in Miami. So our emergency usually centers around a hurricane. The pandemic is absolutely different. Um, aside from that, have you had an emergency plan um, sort of set up anyway with the business, or this has really prompted to you to have some of those conversations?
This has pretty much prompted us to have some of those conversations because at
Mhm.
the end of the day, you're a gym. Like, this is probably one of the only things besides a hurricane where there's everything shut down
Right.
would actually shut our business, because
Right.
people are going to work out.
Yeah.
Like people need us. Like we're an out people. Like, so there's no matter how the economy's gone over the last 10, 12 years, it's never really affected our business model because this is a priority for a good percent of the population, and we're not going anywhere.
Are you
But something
concerned?
like this, what's that?
No, I was gonna just ask, are you concerned that you might lose business as the employment becomes a challenge?
I think we might lose a little business at first, but I have faith in people, especially the
Mhm.
hustlers. And if you come to my gym, you're a hustler
Right.
in
I
one way,
agree.
shape, or form that you're just gonna have to figure out and go in a different direction. Don't just sit there and wait for somebody to help you out or bail you out. You need to get on your feet and figure it out.
Right. 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 Right.
And
Right.
anybody who needs that kind of help, like, we're here to work with you. We're a family. Like, let's just say you're a member
Hmm.
and you've been with me 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and you're like, oh, I lost my job. I need to cancel my membership, but I can't afford it. I'm gonna pull you to the side and be like, look, you've been with me this amount of time.
Hmm.
I don't even want your money right now. All right. We'll give you a free month. I'll let you in.
Oh,
I don't want you to stop your goals. And that's because I have these personal relationships with them.
right.
I know who they are. I realized how much money you have paid me. And I know once you're back on your feet, you're gonna rejoin and then
Absolutely.
and
I
then
agree.
you're gonna tell everybody as well, like what we did for you. And it's authentic and what we're gonna do,
Hmm.
but you can't that's what really separates us from everybody else. It's like a
I
family
agree.
thing. I'm gonna take care of
I
everybody in my family that I can. The
I
ones that deserve it.
I
Them
agree.
bad cousins sometimes you gotta take
I
care of
gotta let
them.
you go.
But the ones that deserve it, you're gonna take care of them.
Good, good, good. Now, personally, and I won't get too much into your business, but you started the new business or the new location in December.
December,
And it
December
went
17th.
into huge construction. Got married in February. You're a
Mm-hmm.
father.
Yeah.
Um, Bought a house and is in major construction.
Yeah.
Uh, that's a lot going on.
Sold a,
We had a pandemic.
sold a house and bought a house
And,
now.
and bought a house that's under construction, and we're in a pandemic. So where do you find the time to do all of that? That's a lot of work.
So at the end of the day, like my body has been waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning for
Mhm.
10 years now.
Okay.
So I get up, I do what I got to do. And then I was used to working 12, 16-hour days every day.
Okay.
So now my workload's cut down a little bit. And I was able to put that effort and
Into
that time into something else. And it kept me sane. I make good money and I could have paid somebody to do it. But guess what? I did all that demo with my brother in the new house because I like my money. And B, I'm a big guy and I had time. So
right.
it was stress relief, knocking down walls, jacking up tile. It's
And it's a
I,
little bit of an exercise.
yeah.
You're a
And
little bit-
I have no problem paying the professionals when they need to rebuild it. But if something got to be torn down,
I can
I
knock
can do
that
that.
down.
I got that.
I can do that. So that might keep you busy through the rest of the pandemic. That
Oh,
will.
the house should be done in about 7 to 10 days, and we've started to see things really come together. And to have the vision that we had to like see what we bought
Hmm.
and then make the changes that we're going to make, and you think they're going to look one way in your head, and they don't
Yes,
always come out like that.
yes,
But
yes.
these things are coming out better than I expected, and I'm
Good,
like,
good, good,
and I'm
good.
from Leisure City down south, and I'm like, this is going to be my house.
Right, very
This is
cool.
this is me.
I want
I'm
to come
proud.
home.
I'm
I want to
proud of
come
this.
home.
Like
Very
I'm
cool. Very
very
cool.
proud.
So, are there any future plans you're thinking of in terms of the business, or you and the owner are talking about? I know we talked a little bit about since we have sort of opened on this online platform. Are there some conversations about some other locations you want to think about, and how quickly that's happening, or just
I I think now that between the corporate locations and the franchises, we now have the home base in Wynwood.
Mhm,
We have Coral Gables. We have Kendall. We have a franchise out there in Doral. So we
mhm,
kind of have one all throughout Dade County.
mhm.
We might add one more in like South Miami area. That would
Okay.
be Dade County. I mean, Broward County, we hit out west in Pembroke Pines. We hit out east in Fort Lauderdale. There's plenty of space in between if we want to go there. And then I think, Palm Beach, Boca, that's like an untapped area too to keep them out, but not on top of each other. Because
Right. I get it.
I see some of these places, especially the bigger ones, where they have all these locations, and it's like every 10 to 12 miles down here, you can
Mhm.
go to one of their locations. And we'd rather keep them spaced out, not oversaturate the market, and keep doing what we're doing. But we also really want to get into another state. We can't
Okay.
really say which state, but there is another one that's a few states away.
Okay,
But
cool.
we're going to get there soon.
Very cool. Actually, I mean, I think that makes perfect sense because, as we mentioned, it's a cult following. Once somebody likes a trainer, if it's not, unless you just flat out move to somewhere else, they'll drive there to go, as you can see from my husband.
Yeah. I mean, like I worked at that Wynwood one for like 10 years,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I have people that
Mhm.
live within a block or two of Wynwood,
They will-
and now they come with me all the way to Kendall, and I start an hour earlier out there. I do 5 a.m. classes in Kendall. The
Okay.
first class in Wynwood's at 6 a.m. So I'll have people, more
Mhm.
than one, that will wake up, that live right next to one. They will drive all the way to me,
Mhm.
be done at 6 o'clock. We have showers and all that stuff too, so they can shower right there. And we're right off the turnpike. They can get the turnpike and go back to work, or if they have time, they can drive home and get ready. So it is what it is. I'm super proud of that too. Like I see, like before all this stuff would happen, I would see your husband once or twice a week, come all the way out there to do it.
I know.
And
I was
when he
like, are
go,
you
and
taking
when he
a kid?
goes on his runs, he went on a run the other day, and I see him run right by the gym, and I'm like, was that Willem? Sure
Yeah,
enough, it was
no.
Willem.
He's a devotee. He's not going anywhere. He will be with you forever. Trust it.
Yes, and I have nicknamed him Willem Wallace after Braveheart because he's a special kind of guy.
So I want to thank you so much for joining us today. As I mentioned, I've been intrigued by the fitness industry, and the success. I think the fact that we could go through a pandemic and kind of see you grow through a
Oh yeah,
pandemic. You grows through a
yeah.
pandemic. Um, so it's very exciting to see, and I was really excited about being able to talk to you today. So I really wanted to say thank you, and I appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Stephanie.
And before we go, though, I want you to tell everybody where we can find you.
Right now, you can find me personally training the classes the morning times at Legacy Fit Kendall, right there in the Town and Country Mall, Kendall and 117th. If you ever want to follow us on social media, um, we really don't use much, really, but Instagram. You can follow me at Joe, No Days Off. You can follow our homepage at No Days Off. That was another one where I got to tell you a side story. So people have been using this for a long time, even though we had the trademark. And there were two different Instagram pages. Somebody had Team No Days Off. Somebody had something No Days Off, and they had 500,000, 600,000 followers, 1 million followers, and they were making money off of this because that's what Instagram is about. You have a certain amount of
Even though
followers, they'll pay you. And we literally one night shut them down. So we took the tag and they lost everything because they were
did
basically
they know it was trademark when you reached out to them?
they wanted to no they've been using it and we've been through the trademark process, but once we were
Gotcha.
awarded the trademark,
Right.
so,
They didn't think it. Yeah,
sorry.
you
Now
gotta stop.
if you wanted to pay us and rent it from us, that was another story, but they believed that they had every right, and your beliefs don't necessarily trump laws and regulations.
Exactly. I'm glad you said that because I think a lot of people think that just because you put something out in the world, that if you have not gone through the legalities.
That's the messed up thing, that you can literally create something from scratch, whether it be an image of this or that, anything. You can create it and then put it out there, but you don't trademark it. You don't own it because
Right.
somebody can come along, file the paperwork. They can own what you created, and
And
then
make
they
money
can
off of it.
make money off of it, and they can block you from making money off of what you created.
Exactly.
You
Or
still
charge you.
or
Or charge you to use your name that you created. We have
exactly.
to do, but I had an attorney on the other day who was talking about intellectual property. She was right, like that was what she kept talking about. You've got to make it legal. You got to make it legal.
Got to.
So I'm glad, this is fitness, but you got to do what you need to do as well.
Still a business at the end of the day.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I do hope everybody finds you again, Legacy Fit and Kindle. One of these days, I'm going to get the guts to try it, but I don't know.
So remember, here's the big difference. When Willem goes to Wynwood, and you've been there before. I know
Yeah.
you've been to Wynwood, and it was kind of rough. That's how we originally started. It's big warehouse, no air conditioning, a little hot come to my spot. We keep it about 75 degrees.
Okay.
Nice, and we're all inside, right? The strip mall, so it's.
You have to be nice to me, though. You have to be nice to me.
You know you're a VIP over
I
here.
am not Willow. Thank you so much. Tell the family I said hello.
Well, thank you.
Have a great one.
You
Bye-bye.
too.
So everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a great conversation. I was very excited to learn more about the fitness industry, and I hope you did too. I actually learned some good stuff, actually, that I'm going to think about later with that no days off for sure. But next week, join us Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We are talking to Kristen Kitchens from Dunn's Josephine Hotel. We will be talking to Dexter Bridgman from Legacy Miami, and we will be talking to Steve Dorsonville, who is who works with the Little Haven Cultural Center and has a venture of her own. So thank you so much. You have a great day, and talk to you soon.